Hello everyone, and today I wanted to talk about the unique paradox of being an ENFP. I'm also going to make more videos that talk about the unique paradoxes of every type, but I'm going to start with the ENFP by popular request from ENFPs who've been watching my channel, so shout out to you guys. So this is just going to be some brief words that I hope are really validating to everyone that identifies as an ENFP. If you don't know cognitive type, that's totally fine. I will simplify to you why it may feel so confusing at times to be you and what you can do about it. So, the first thing to establish is that you, by default, really run on possibilities. You really run on like understanding different ideas, different contexts, different ways information can come together to create different realities. Now, the confusing part is that what is foundational to that is actually you have a great index of every single sensory moment you've ever experienced. Every physical memory is very real to you. In fact, if you sometimes feel like you cling to the past, that is actually from that very powerful index. You can recall probably stories word for word, conversations, moments. You won't necessarily physically experience them very intensely, but you'll be able to like play back this whole reel. Like if you've ever seen the Black Mirror episode, The Entire History of You, where people have contact lenses that record everything they've seen and then they play it back, that is what your memory can do better than a lot of people's. Now, the paradox is that because you have this archive, you really resort to comfort, especially when you're stressed. And the other part of that is that the cost of comfort is being able to surge forward and move on and seize all of those possibilities. Now, it's not necessarily that the paradox exists because you have this tendency toward comfort and possibility. It's actually that when you naturally have this urge for comfort, you cancel out your ability to define your vision. Now, your vision is actually different than possibilities. Vision is more about like your intentions and the kind of life you want to create for yourself that's marked by every single moment you're living. So for you, when you see possibilities, you don't necessarily commit to believing in them deeply. You might commit to an ideal of how people should act, but you won't necessarily commit to an ideal of what you think reality is or could be based on what you see as possible via your own hands. That's actually a quality that's more reminiscent of being an NJ, but you're an NP, so you don't use that. The paradox is that every time you want to go maybe do something epic or great, you feel yourself maybe hesitating and holding back, and in the end, not getting as much done toward this vision and this ideal that you want. Like you might accidentally talk up a big game all the time about how you want to be like maybe a great author or a great whatever. And yet you find yourself hesitating because you replay all these times that things didn't work out for you, or you replay all the times you saw someone else disappointed because something didn't work out for them. And no matter what you do, you maybe feel that you should be more optimistic than you actually can be. The good news is that you actually don't need to strain as much as you probably are right now, because what you actually need to create is a win-win between your tendency toward comfort and what will actually help you grow, which is a tendency to blaze forward with a vision no matter what the cost of your comfort is. Now, the greatest way to do this is to actually use your best asset, which is your emotions, and journaling about the proactive ways your emotions can be used to help you. Rather than react to emotion, try to proactively think about how you can respond to it, how you can use your emotions as a way to inform what you've always wanted to do. You can understand why it is that you have this magnetic possible urge to be an author or an artist or something, and let that ground you. And whenever you feel held back by the fears of leaving your comfort zone, you can ask yourself, what, despite that fear, are you more committed to? And then from there, you can use your tendency to crave comfort and routine that paradoxically seems to interfere with your intuitive ideas. You can use that to support your vision so you can take sustainable action toward making it real. If you're deep in the type community and you understand what being an ENFP means on a cognitive function level, you might resonate that a lot of what I'm saying is the paradox of having introverted sensing but also having a shit ton of intuition and being unable to execute on introverted intuition, and comparing yourself frequently to these visionary leaders, the NJs, who can use their introverted intuition and blaze forward with what they're doing. But there is a lot of wisdom in being an ENFP because you will learn at your best to value yourself and not compromise your vision because you burn out from taking unsustainable action, which NJs can actually do. Instead, you need to figure out how to not go so deep into your comfort zone that you never do anything that you set out wanting to do, but also at the same time not refusing to listen to your sensing side while you're doing your vision. I believe that life is a dance for every type between your dominant disposition and your inferior function that ends up fueling and is foundational to your dom function. But at the same time, there is a wisdom in what is beneath the dominant function, which is that fifth function I'm talking about. So in an ENFP, it's the extroverted intuition, that's the dom, the introverted sensing, that is the inferior, and the introverted intuition, which is the fifth. My philosophy really boils down to, I really believe we should honor all 8 of the functions in some way. I don't think that just the ego alone is the best way to get things done. But I also don't believe that you should completely let go of your ego when you're pursuing the wisdom of the shadow. So you'll see me talking a lot about these concepts from here on out, but I will make sure to still make it digestible for those that are still new to functions and don't quite understand it. The biggest takeaway I would have for you as an ENFP is to understand that if you want to feel like you're progressing in life, you have to be very intentional about your why and also really accept the limitations of your present body. Because at the end of the day, those limitations won't define you. If you look back at your life and you think all you see is your failures or what's held you back, take another look, because you have to be extremely objective in order to actually go deep into that archive. Your memories also hold a lot of wisdom for you to understand what sustainably works for you. And to stand by that is really powerful because it means that you will crack some codes that no one else can when you uniquely are pursuing your vision. But you first have to believe in the wisdom of your body and the wisdom of your vision existing side by side. And don't compare your journey to anyone else's as well, even though it's tempting because you can see very far and very vastly the world of possibilities out there. Instead, focus on the wisdom that your experiences has granted you and the wisdom of why you're doing what you're doing with your life and vision. So anyways, this was a brief video. Hopefully if you're an ENFP and you resonated with this, let me know. If you want to know how to apply this wisdom specifically to better your life, I offer free 20-minute crystal clarity calls. You can find the link down below. And yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a like. And if you want to learn more, I'm always available for DMs on Instagram or via email. Thank you and have a nice night.